we have Hydra in the top left, playing on Awesome as per standard, comfortable as, and then down here in the bottom right, in the red, we've got Magical, all right? And we're going to see how we play this out, because this is going to be a really fascinating one. Same thing happened with Santa, and I want to see, is he going to copy Santa? Is he going to go those Zakal straight away? Just assume the Zephyr's going to be there. Or is it going to be more standard kind of Icor play? Or, yeah.
I don't want to see the
ways.
Icor. The Icor has not done well. And I think in particular on this map, the Icor is just no bueno. Like, you can't easily transition from Pyre camp to Pyre camp without kind of going through enemy territory, you know? Like, there's a zone of influence around that citadel that just kind of makes it hard. And I would love to see something that involves just some early units to capture the Pyre camp. Like, maybe going into a pack of hunters and threatening an early attack, but just going into some of that Zakal play I think would be really solid, because we've just seen nothing but Zephyrs, you know?
Yeah, and I don't think there's any reason to expect otherwise, right? The Zephyrs aren't like this is a strange build or a quirk or something that I might change up. It's this is what I play, and this is the staple of my army, right? This is the meat and potatoes. Yeah, and I think also the Icons, especially against someone that going Zephyr so frequently, and also to someone that can manage the Zephyr so well. It's like a signature unit for Hydra at this point, right? Like,
yeah,
no one
100%.
likes the Zephyr as much as he does, and no one's playing with them as much as he does, and has that kind of level of mastery, right?
Well, I'll tell you about mastery. Magical just dominated the scout battle. This man's 2-0 unscathed. My god.
My god. He's just feeling on the opponent, Mike. That's a morale victory, you know?
It's absolutely a morale victory.
It's another one staying at home. He's afraid. Look at that. He's like, no way. You're catching me out there, man.
Oh,
there's 2 teapots. They're like sharks.
Yeah, like sharks. They are actually sharking him for the next scout. That is actually true. We're trying to see who's coming for that Pyre camp.
And it's a good thing too, because it is important to block the scouting in this case, because Hydra's asking the same questions. Is it Zakal? Is it Masked Hunters? Is it Icon?
Yeah,
what are we doing here? I mean, he's gonna build Zephyr either way. Oh,
he's pulled that camp, so he better have control of that Pyre spot.
Yeah.
See, now he's getting messed around with this camp, and the Icor are coming out, so he has to get this done at least somewhat soon.
Yeah, and this one hanging on the thing. Well, these two, the scouts just suiciding.
This teapot is just.
He's trying for it. Oh,
my god, did he get it?
We need to fix that somehow. That has got to be bugged. What is going on with the teapots? And the 2 Icor are going to clean up at least one Zentari. I'm not sure how much they're going to get done, because it's going to be Zephyrs from here on out. Those are the last 2 Zentari you're going to see, possibly for the whole game. So yeah, that's
wow, yeah, the Zephyr are going to contest this though, and they might stop this camp. Like, Icors just don't fight Zephyr. Honestly, I'm really surprised we saw Icors at this point, because he doesn't have control of this camp. Like, what's the plan here?
Yeah, no, and he's not going to.
He's going to see that and stop hitting it straight away. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what you get for ceding the control with those Icor. Like, the Zephyrs were always coming. It's an interesting one. Here comes the Zakal now. Let's see if he can get some distance around. The other thing is the Icor and the investment into the Icor, and then transitioning into the Zakal has meant that he hasn't got like much units out of the map at all. Like, if it was Icor or anything else, he still wouldn't have that much, right?
Yeah.
So he just hasn't got the army to contest a lot of these things, right? It's going to take him so long to clear a Pyre camp that, you know.
Yeah, I wonder if there's just something we're missing here. Like, is there some play or some dynamic of the Icor that is just really good? Because realistically, if he hadn't got that first Pyre camp through, let's be honest, highly questionable means.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd have any Pyre.
Winstep's already up.
This this is going terribly. The Icors aren't contributing because they're supposed to be doing a run by, but they're very late to the party. Magical's losing everything.
The Winstep being up so fast is it's just faster than the games with Santa, I feel like. And I think that's a crucial thing. The monastery has been coming up quicker and quicker every game. And these are doing damage, and this is great, but I think like you're not stopping Hydra's main game plan. Like, this slows it down, but I don't think it's doing enough. And he's not got any hope of like contesting this army directly anytime soon.
And you've seeded so much Pyre to awesome. Like, what the hell? These are dead. Wind Step's gonna kill those now as well. Like, I'm just struggling to see.
Oh, dropped one.
I don't know.
Because the thing is, now that he's got Wind Step, Zakal vs Zephyr, Zakal lose, right? Unless the other person's like not paying attention or they're a bit too aggressive, like in this case, they can trade with you all day. They'll do it forever, you know?
Yeah, I like what Magical's kind of going for, where he saw what Santa was doing. It's like, yeah, okay, I like that plan. Like, I can make this game and I can make small improvements to that. But I'm a little bit disappointed to see the Ichor opening because it's just getting smacked down, and I think that might just set Magical up for such a tough game.
Yeah, it is a strange one, right? Like, here's a character. Here's a character. Here's a player that's done the same thing every game for 8 games in a row. And it's like, I gotta build the thing that's countered by that. It's like, oh, you sure? Here we go.
It absolutely works on larger maps. This fight, I think, is fine to take, right? Like, if you've got incubators here, and you're beside a Grove Guardian, like, well, don't chase out too far, mate.
Don't go too far. Yeah, because he's getting target fired so much. The Zephyr count is way too big. You know, and the Wind Step.
The Wind Step
really
micro is amazing.
Yeah, it's just like, look at all these half health units, right? If every single Zephyr is half health, then that means you could have killed half of them. It wasn't for the Wind Step micro. Yeah, so just insane trades, and for very little out of it, right?
And I think too far away from the Bloodwell. Like, it's all going to get healed up. All that damage was for naught. And you know what? Magical's population is higher, and I'll tell you why. It's because there's going to be an Angelarium with a Bearer of the Crown in that main base somewhere. It's going to be building towards it. There it is! As per called, Angelarium with a Bearer of the Crown, because you know Hydra's just ticking up. And you've got no threat to him.
One of the pressures with this throne thing, where everyone goes, oh man, you know, where are the throne counters? The reality is, you feel like you need to catch up on the ground, right? You spend so much of the game being like, geez, I need to catch up. My army just keeps getting destroyed on the ground. I'm not even winning the ground fight, right? And then when you finally build your necessary resonance or whatever unit, then the thrones arrive and you're like, oh no, now I'm behind on the air fight.
Yeah.
You know? It's really hard to find that again.
For sure. And I would like to see less... Like, I would like to see fewer Zakal, because if you're really trying to kill Zephyr, probably Resonance, you know? Like, probably Resonance is the way. They just have such nice damage against them, and it's so much harder to win step micro around Resonance shots, so it just is a little bit of a shame. That's nice damage on the tower. It's weird that there wasn't an Empire Unbroken there, because you would have loved to force one of those out, but with 260 Pyre, I don't know if it matters.
Yeah,
I mean, 260 Pyre. Hydra's got to make some towers.
Yeah, no, I think he's dropping on that, but also, like, his attention must be on maneuvering around the map, right? Keeping up as much pressure as possible, and not letting people take the map with these Zephyrs, just sharking around while this throne count builds up, right? Because you don't want the other person to get comfortable and start transitioning into something else. The other thing I really like is that those two Angelariums are out there at the natural, and I don't know if the Thrums have seen that at all, right?
Yeah.
Because they've been diving into the main and trying to get... okay, no, that guy's just walking into a wall. Yeah, I don't know if he knows that the thrones are coming. And
I don't
not only
think he knows like that. I think he's about to find out now.
Yeah, and as per the other games, he sees them all now, and they're about to pop out.
The timing of this.
Actually crazy. I think he could dive onto these, and it might be worth it to get one of the Angelariums, but yeah.
No, he'd lose the whole army, though. This is such a grim position, because
Incubator,
Zephyrs are so close, yeah.
Full mana, rather. Yeah, so these, this army has to leave, yeah, and it's gonna happen. This is just like those other games, right? It feels like a replay. Here's the Thrones.
Yeah. This is so rough for Magical. And it just is one of those things where the early game just left him in the dust. Like, I know you had a game up, so you kind of have one to spare in some ways. But, like, the early game went so poorly here for Magical. Like, the Icors got so little done. And then the first Zakal fight just got absolutely bodied by Zephyr micro out the wazoo. Like, Hydra, the man is microing like a fiend. Like, the micro's been impeccable in these fights. Like, the number of Zephyrs that have been saved, like, against a lesser player, the Zakal would have just killed them all.
Yeah. No, exactly, and that's the thing. I think it's like it's hard to judge the meta sometimes. If you're one of these players, you're like, man, this seems really, really good, and then it's like, oh, actually, I just haven't gone up against enough matches against someone that's like at that level, right? With certain units. The army there is all right. I think, you know.
I like the
that's a
Wraithbow
decent amount
count.
of
It's
Wraithbows.
high, and that's what you need. And I love that this Erebor is coming down as well. It's probably not going to live that one, but it's the right idea. You need to have some defenses to stop this sort of shenaniganry. And it's really nice. We can see the range upgrade on the Wraithbow as well. So he's fully prepared for this transition. I think, if I had to guess, I think this is what Magical was kind of shooting for, in that he was planning on kind of overcompensating a little bit for this throne transition when it came, because I think he must have seen Santa and went, actually, no way, I can counter thrones better than that. I really need to just commit like crazy to countering the throne.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I think he got caught up in that early game because he was worried and focused on that thing on the horizon, that throne count. And this Ancient's going to be an interesting one. The Wraithbows are going to dive under, kill one of these thrones off. Ooh, got a snipe to
the
the other one.
damage taken from the Ancient ability, though, was
There's Zephyrs in the
crazy.
Ancient, yeah.
I don't know that
taking away
Magical
the
wins
thrones.
this, not without a Pyre ability.
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't be that bad to drop a Harvest here. He's on 290, like, he's not doing bad.
Nice focus
And I
fire.
think- Nice focus fire, gets a throne. And I think this is, the throne count isn't at the point where it was last game, in Santa's game, right? It's not that level of a threat yet. I do think,
I'd
Red
love to
Harvest
see a random-
would have done, yeah. And so he's going to pull back, he's going to seed it, and I feel like you could have
I think
Pyre
that's
to
okay.
get that.
Like, if we're Magical and we're sitting on 300 Pyre, what else are we doing with our Pyre, you know? Clearly
It's
we're not
still
using the
denied,
stuff.
though, right?
Yeah, I
You're
understand
not
that.
doing
I
that.
understand that. But, like, in the end, it's like a little
And
bit
blood.
minor.
Because they're gonna
Magical's
fight
got
it,
a lot of Pyre as well.
Wait, Hydra has a little Pyre as well?
Yeah, Hydra has a lot of Pyre as
Yeah, no,
well.
but-
140?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. After the Ancient, but I think if you drop a Red Harvest there, then you get the kind of you get a heap of blood from that, which is cool.
I like
and
the
then-
blade, yeah.
Yeah, and they have to respond to it, right? Like, because the fight's happening, and you can get a lot of value out of that, right? Like just trading into that.
Yeah, I think absolutely having blood stacking up is valuable. 100%. Where the worthy buff on Wraithbows is a massive game changer in that your damage density goes up because you have a lot more damage in, you know, same number of units, and that can catch people out with these thrones because some volleys from Wraithbows really can put down thrones. And what is this for a foothold? This is a gorgeous position Hydra's got here. Magic's going to have a tough time getting this back.
No, there's going to be so many Blades of the Godhead cast coming down shortly. Like, yeah, there's another one. And they're just going to be able to zone out this army forever because this is the same choke that Santa got caught in a few times. Yeah, and it's just so hard to push in there to get under these thrones. And now they're going to run into the main. There's a whole lot of defenses here. This is one of those things you can see Magical's just
Well
a little
prepared.
bit more experience. Yeah, well prepared. It's still going to be hard to get through this, but he's going to lose thrones for the cost, and he's not going to
He's
lose
losing-
heaps of production.
Well, he lost nothing there, really. Like, he lost a couple of Erebor, but you are more than happy to pay that price. And
Yeah.
I think this is actually good for Magical. That didn't work out. Like, it bought him a lot of time, and it looks like he's got units prepared to attack the other side of the map, and oh, he's not
Yeah, this
committing
base
to
isn't
it.
here.
Oh,
So held. There's the Great Wall of Era. All right, that is my God, dude. The amount of defenses everywhere, and it's a show of respect,
Hydra's
and also
learning, man.
how much Hydra's learnt. Yeah, over the course of the game, like how to play modern Awesome since like the reworks and the changes, and this is not gonna work.
you can't fight
Blades of
here.
Godhead
The
deck,
blades
yeah,
will be, yeah.
killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so tough. Like, we're seeing the same things over and over, and like I respect having the Zakala and Incubators still there in your army because you just haven't lost them yet. But man, those units feel like pretty rough at the moment, and I'm really worried about Magical trying to take this base because I think it's going to bait him into bad fights overall. Because I think you need to be hitting elsewhere and opening up the map. Because this situation where he runs in the main,
The Erebor's gone now, and there's not enough Wraithbows here.
they didn't get replaced.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So
mind
this-
committing here
this
though.
amount of thrones?
Take out the spot while he's not there.
Yeah, I don't know if he had enough to do it. There's a lot of fire singers here, and his army's just kind of noodling around doing nothing, while the thrones wipe everything he has. This game is going to end in a sputter, just because there's nothing to contest this, right? Like, he's done this now. Like, obviously killed the God Heart, and it's been pretty devastating. But he's nothing to stop him keep doing that, right? Like, keep.
And hide
You
your
know, like-
slaves, yeah.
Yeah, he's just going to do that again in a couple of minutes. Now, obviously, Magical's going in the middle. He's got 430 Pyre, hasn't spent any of it on anything. He's just living his best life.
But he still wants more, of course.
Need 500.
I mean, there could be a plan here for like late game trading where you actually are using a red harvest and just sprinting hunters under thrones, because there is a world where that works out. But
I think the issue is that Rain of Blood or Red Harvest, it's not that good against these spellcaster heavy AoE units, right?
It's not.
You're making a whole lot of kill. They're getting hit by the second and third sword. The first sword kills the guy. The next 3 kill the thing that spawns after the guy. You know? And
Yeah.
look at this.
I like this
base
counterattack
just gonna
though.
shatter. Yeah, the counterattack's
It's a
great.
big enough clump. It's a big enough clump that it can get some work done, especially because this is such a centralized army. Like, if you start multi-pronging this, it gets tricky really quickly. And so I really like what he's doing here to pull this apart. Obviously, an Empire Unbroken slows this whole thing down, but Hunters have great DPS, and so, like, I think if I would actually really love to see him, I know this is a little bit micro-intensive, but I would love to see him split off the Zakal and the Incubators to be part of that other group as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And just keep the larger mass of mostly Mouse Hunters and Wraith Bows to fight the...
Yes.
Because I think you're totally right, like, the Zakal and the Incubator, they almost do more harm than good sometimes when they're in those situations, right?
Taking up space, yeah.
Yeah, they're taking up space, they're being body blocking and stuff like that. Like, oh, there's so many thrones. Oh my god, the Blades of Godhead just shattering everything. Rain of Blood's not going to help that much, right? He's going to drop it, and some of these units, they're just dying so fast that it doesn't matter. It doesn't help that much. He scrapes off one throne. There's a couple of smites coming out from the Sharu, going to do damage, picking off these key units, and there's just not enough. This is Rain of Blood happening, and there's not enough mana being spent, there's not enough health actually being lost, right? Usually during Rain of Blood you want to trade like he is a machine, yeah. Clockwork.
Like, how methodically is he just crushing this? Like, this is...
No.
I mean, when you think Orzoom and expanding the Empire, this is what it looks like. Like, if anyone doesn't think this is Orzoom just crushing his foot down on this map, look at that!
That's our whole tower defense game right now. Yeah, and like pushing any of these points when the thrones are out, oh, they're all the way up there, I can push in here. It's like, cool, there's going to be an Empire Unbroken. You're not going to get the Citadels, you might get some Fire Singers, but those are going to come right back up. And you can't push anywhere on this map. Here's a Behemoth.
And we're seeing it. That's what I was about to say. Like, the counter to these positions are things like Behemoth to kind of dislodge and kind of push your way in there. But, oh my god, like, Behemoth do nothing versus Thrones. So then what do you do? Like, you have to have the mix of everything. Like, it's just so tough. And, well, this is the game you play. Dodge the circles. Oh boy.
A little bit more circle dodging coming in.
It's looking really rough here for Magical.
Yeah, he launched a few at the start, and now he's like metering them out a bit more, I think, because he knows he has to have enough to keep pressuring this, because you can't ever get under that, right? And I think this pushing forward, I almost think they could turn on that, almost, you know, because they've launched so many spells,
absolutely.
like they're almost out. But it's so hard to judge, right? Because if you go, this is it, I'm diving, they've launched enough. Oh, sorry, you miscounted. There's one more throne with blades in his chair, and he's going to throw them at you. You're going to lose half your army. It's like, oh. My bad, miscounted.
Yeah, it's so tough. Like, you need Behemoth, but it's almost like you just want to fight buildings with your Behemoth elsewhere on the map. You know, it's like it's almost like you. You just fly around the map away from the thrones and just this is gonna be an absolute killer.
And you can't break any of these other positions easily, right? Like you'd be like, all right, well maybe we can trade that position for this position. How? You know?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, and so he's pulling back easy as anything. Hydra doesn't even commit to that push at all. He could have stayed there way longer, right? Like, this army's still not even barely here, right?
Beautiful movement by Hydra. Beautiful movement.
And then he's rotating up here to try and deal with this army. He doesn't, like, and so he's got such a massive force. 240 population, man. Look at that. Actually crazy. And it's almost all Throne Sharu. This is the dream army, you know? When I'm daydreaming, like, what would my army look like if I had, I'd do this. And I'd have 50 thrones and 20 Sharu. Like, oh my god.
Genuinely. This is the Eye of Varus. This is like...
Oh my god.
It looks at you for a second and you disappear.
He looks at this and he goes, oh my god. Whoa. I leave for one day. This is what you guys make? Oh my lord. Yeah.
I mean, Magical, like, if he had Scan from StarCraft, he'd scan that army and go, GG.
Yeah, well, this is a lore army, right? Someone out there, Dylan's like, yeah, this is what it looks like. You know, this.
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
looks like in
an
the
actual.
war.
It's here to cleanse some cities.
Yeah,
Oh
they're
my
out there and they're
God.
saying like, oh my god, this is what happens to Jorah's Crossing. Yeah,
Have
that.
you ever seen an ancient taken in 6 seconds?
Yeah, my god. Want to see me kill the ancient? Want to see me kill it again? Whew. Yeah, and so
Alright, well-
magical. I don't know. No, I don't even know if there is supposed to be something in the game that defeats that. I think if you get to that point with that many thrones, I think you're supposed to win. We should put a trigger in the engine. It's like, oh, sorry, if throne count's above 30, you know, like if max apply, it's only thrones. There's fire
Yeah.
singers on that expansion.
I mean, at
spot.
that point, you've basically done it, so let's go.
Yeah, I think it's so funny because Hydra, I think, can crush this game in several different angles, but he's taking it piece by piece. Yeah, 30 smites going out on these behemoths.
Absolutely
Yeah.
lasered.
Nope. Yeah, so hard to get anything. And like every single little, you know, that little pathway down there between the ancient and this Pyre camp, you know, there was a little bit of room there to play in, and now there's a citadel going down, right? Like every single avenue or piece of open space that you want to play on is going to get taken away. Now this might be an overextension just because of the amount of concave potential here, but even then there's ore strikes going down to fend that off, right? Like
Yeah.
Hydra's not going to push into that spot willy-nilly. He's going to be expanding on the other side of the map, putting towers down, like, and look how aggressive these fire singers are. They're so forward. And
This is just
he has no choice
perfect.
but to let it happen. Yeah.
This is just the absolutely quintessential way to seal this out completely solidly. Like, if
Yeah.
you're ahead, this is just how to do it.
And so his magical drops Rain of Blood. He's at like 450 Pyre still. And what's the plan? Right? There goes the Rain of Blood. It's
Pillar
all
counter. And both remember they have fire.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Orzum's on 14. And yeah, like these smites, you have to run away from them as much as you can. Not going to be able to dodge
15
those with the
citadels.
big old behemoths. Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're supposed to
Everyone just take a moment and watch Hydra's Pyre income and just recognize that he's not taking camps. That's
Yeah.
just his income.
do. Dunk, dunk. He should be pillaring on cooldown, I think, actually. Like,
100%. He should have them all over the map at this point.
oh,
I don't know
couple
if
of
it
these guys
matters,
getting nice.
A route. That's what we needed to see. Nice. It's
Yeah,
a nice
shame
addition.
I think that the issue is that they're at such a massive volume. Yeah, and here's the throne. It's like, oh, I got
Oh, rooting them
Root
there, that would be perfect. Over no static D,
Needs to
that's
get some-
perfect. Right
Oh,
here is
not
the.
quite.
Oh,
100 is
never
that?
mind. You
He
gotta
should be able to
die
get some
those
anyway.
abilities.
He's gonna get 2. Blades of the Godhead gonna mean you're gonna have to peel away, but the damage over time, maybe. Oh, yep, 1.
I'm wondering if Magical's behind on upgrades. At one point, Hydra did snipe out one of the root cradles in the main base, and I don't know, maybe it's just thrown strong,
Oh,
but
double shard?
I'm wondering if we're not seeing quite the full damage here, and there's actually one
Yeah.
armor upgrade up.
And here's the position again. Just outrageous.
Let me
And,
just
like-
trade into some fire singers real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna destroy some production structures. You're gonna destroy some fire singers, right? And you have to be wary
That should be
because you're
Red
out of
Harvest.
power. Red Harvest immediately, yeah. Oh, there goes a. Oh, the meatiest ore strike you've ever seen in your life. My God. And then
That's
the production's
it's
gonna go
a
down behind
juicer,
it.
as they say.
It's an absolute juicer. And how much are you getting from that? 1 of 38 fire singers has gone down. You know,
Yeah, man.
and at a huge cost. You're losing so much of production. You know, he's not max, and it's going to take a long time to get max now because you're losing so much of that maximum population. Yeah, and Hydra's just playing this so methodically.
I
and
don't
it's
see an
gotta be
avenue. I don't see an avenue
out.
back into this
Yeah.
for Magical A. Like I really
Unless-
don't. Like when someone's got to this point, it looks
Yeah.
horrific.
And unless there were like 38 Aeroxes that he could bank up, but you can't
Even
do
then-
that without surrendering some of this army to make up space in your population for
What-
those units.
Well, it doesn't matter because they'll fly back over the Fire Singers, and the Aerox will die to the Fire Singers.
Root Vice, not going to be enough follow-up, I don't think, because there's so many blades to zone that territory, right? This incredible like footsies, you know, game is so hard when you have so many units, right? Because not only do you have to get the spell on them, right? You also have to get the follow-up damage on the thrones.
Yeah,
and
it's
to do.
truly
Whereas the
hard at
thrones
this
just need to
point.
land the spell, right? Like, look at that, so many. Here goes another Rain of Blood, Root Vice, not Boot Rice.
Voot rice.
Boot Rice is what they eat. in
You've
Iron
never
Force.
eaten Voot rice in your life?
Bro, if you're not having Boot Rice, I don't know what to tell you.
I think
Yeah.
I think Magical might be a little bit low. You know, actually, what it might be is also I'm seeing the damage against Fire Singers, but Wraithbow damage versus ground is not particularly good. So maybe that's also what I'm seeing.
I like Nas Hunters almost, yeah.
Oh, I like
Bam,
the
bam,
smites
bam.
just to get the damage in.
Yeah, it's more consistent, right? Like you can do a bit more consistent damage.
Now this is gonna look, for anyone watching at home, I do have to remind you that this might look a little bit truly ridiculous for Orzoom. However, the early game was gently donated, and
yeah, no, over and over again.
It does lead to a situation like this where he probably could have ended the game by now. He's just doing it in a way that looks absolutely
Cruel, someone say? Yeah, he's gonna take the Ancient with Fire Singers alone, which is truly hilarious. I think at this point, like, I don't know, we call a ref and be like, hey man, this guy's just messing with the opponent. He's trying to break his spirit, and it's working. You know, like, these couple good roots here. He's gonna shave some thrones off, but I think those are mostly just gonna get remade, and they have to dance around through these ore strikes to do it. A couple of Sharu going down, but then once again, like, there's not enough pressure being put on in these trades. Like, you are getting a throne here and there, you are getting a Sharu here and there, but those are getting remade really quick, and your main is completely vanished, right?
Yeah.
This throne's just cleaning up these units
nice.
even as they come out, like. Yeah.
Now, like, Magical's had a huge economy, and it's just gonna start drying up soon. Like, we see 600 on the natural there, and this is beautiful. That's exactly what you want to be doing with your extra.
This is hilarious, right?
Yeah. But like, the end result is just what we're seeing. Like, it's Mars Hunters over and over again, and they're just gonna get chipped and killed away slowly, and eventually it's just gonna putter out for Magical. Like, this is a great attempt until Empire Unbroken stops it completely.
Yeah, and the AoE on the Fire Singers means that this huge pack of really dense units, right, like, is getting really punished. You know, there's like a no window there to get.
Yeah.
In.
And Hydra's cracked the code. I don't know if he just listened to me before, being like, Fire Singers are kind of awesome, but damn, he's put it into practice. I tell you, like,
yeah, look at all those Dread Sisters just wandering forward and meeting an untimely demise. And yeah, and now I think it's hitting that point where it's like he can keep forcing back so long with these spells and these abilities that there's actually no chance to gain that ground, right? And these two thrones are still alive.
Yeah, and these citadels
going citadel there.
This is like a mana citadel at this point.
Yeah, it's disrespectful for sure, and I kind of respect that it's disrespectful, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I kind of like it.
It's definitely
another rain of blood.
That one.
So many rains of blood and so little value out of it.
Yeah.
You know? Because these are all abilities that are snapping you out of existence before you can heal.
Like, you can dodge around, and the Rain of Blood will help a lot if you're just getting clipped by all the abilities.
Now, this concave
but the key point is that you don't get to engage much. The Root Vices are nice. He's capturing a few of these thrones and actually chipping them down. It's just, how do you get through this crazy Fire Singer wall? Like, if he had a pack of, like, 4 Behemoth working on the edges, just constantly chipping buildings wherever the thrones aren't, yeah, maybe. But as it is...
Yeah.
Nah, dog.
And not only that, those thrones walking out into that huge grassy plain is the worst possible place they can be, and they still didn't get enough, right? You needed to almost collapse and kill everything there, but it's just like, it's a pillar down here and some random units for damage. Oh my god, that is... Pillar. Yeah, and it's wild.
Oh, and the throne's just smoking the army now.
Yeah, here we go.
Is Zephyr still there? Dude, has Zephyr been there the whole time?
Just
talk about retention. That is truly ridiculous army retention. Like, wow. What an absolute masterclass from Hydra to seal a game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a bit of a meme with some of the Citadel positions I'm seeing here. But, yeah, just running in now. Look at these ore strikes just hitting everywhere. The burn is tickling everyone non-stop. And there's just not enough to really deal with it. Throne count getting a bit low here. If he could get on top of that, if there weren't like so many Fire Singers, I actually think that may have been a situation where you could get some serious damage, right? But
yeah,
the fact of the matter is, there is Fire Singers. He's being.
We're also just seeing some unfamiliarity with Marla's kit a little bit, you know. If you were playing this as like an absolute like 10-year veteran of Marla, you would have Bloodwells everywhere, you know. Like every engagement that you're taking, every fight, you would be within range of Bloodwell, and you'd be generating some Pyre. And you'd be using that Pyre to red harvest and generating some blood, and then all of your army would be worthy. You know what I mean? Like, over this amount of time with this amount of economy, I think there's just a little bit of missed opportunity. Like we see some Bloodwells here. That's great.
The healing Bloodwells,
mostly for healing, not for gaining that nearby Pyre. Yeah.
So one thing that's interesting to me is that Hydra has Hallowers. He's mixed Hallowers into it. And I think that's really fascinating because it does mean that he's kind of changing things up because he's struggling to finish it. Which surprises me because it felt like he was more playing with his food, right? Like the throne run buys and the main have been very successful, and I feel like he's been eating away at resources very efficiently. And so I guess there's some pressure there. He feels like he needs to
I think it's a question of
get more done.
Ease, if I had to guess, where I think it's mostly that it's just easier to chip away with Hallows, because ultimately thrones don't have that high range, and when the army is completely designed to kill you, when it's, you know, casters that are supposed to slow you down, and then wraith bows that are supposed to kill you, and all these things, it is risky to step forward. You know, if you aren't that ranged, it is risky. Whereas a Hallower will shoot you from miles away. You won't even see that shit coming.
You're not coming.
Oh my god, those awe strikes.
That is not a ramp you can come up. You just have to seed that whole thing. You have to attack somewhere else or get value somewhere, because you can't ever come up that ramp with the amount of spellcasters. It's just, the wrath of heaven. Yeah, and then immediately a citadel, a fire singer, the Acropolis. There's probably going to be a citadel there shortly.
This is mine now.
Look at the Pyre, nearly on 1,000 Pyre. You should just win the game, I think. If you hit 1,000 Pyre, you just win.
That's a pillar I like.
I respect
you
that,
should walk into it though.
Yeah. And probably put some towers up nearby.
Did he use it for bait?
Pretty hard to contest that. This open ground is about the best chance, because I think if anyone's overextending at any point, might be it for Hydra, and I don't even think it's that bad. He's got so many spellcasts, he can delay this fight for so long. This is about as good as it's gonna get. He's out in the open, there's no fire singers, he's getting a root vices off, like, and he does kill a lot of thrones. And that
scenario, that was literally the best case scenario.
Yeah, and I think it worked out. I think he did win that fight. I think Hydra doesn't have that much alloy. I think this base is still going to be really hard to
why though, right?
Yeah, because it was like a near suicidal move with that competition, right? Like,
this is why it's all fire singers. He's been macroing like a fiend. It's just that macro in this case is making fire singers. You just haven't figured out that that's pinnacle macro.
Yeah, this is peak macro. My God, what an adjustment from the first games we saw when one or two thrums were hitting a base. Right?
Oh, that's such an interesting detail. Did you notice that? Look at all the soul foundries back there.
Wait,
the soul foundries there in Hydra's base. He's clearly ready for the switch if it needs to happen. If there was somehow a need to fight the ground army, well, I mean, he's been making Hallowers, but if there was somehow a need to fight the ground army, the man has infrastructure for days. He can switch really easily. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. The crawl continues.
This is such a long game. After an epic series, maybe Magical's secret strat was just to grind out the longest game possible.
Yeah, he's gonna keep really tight. No, good drone catch. I mean, this area where he's pushing, I don't think you can push here, right? He took that far side. You need to pick away at the edges of Magical, and you can't go into this huge open area, because that's where his army shines, right? Where you can dodge some of those spells, where you can push in a bit. Another pillar, that's hilarious. Because otherwise you're going to get root vice and you're going to lose units, and not in your favor, because the trades have been really good so far, right?
What even doing the Hallowers? Did they die?
They're around. They're underneath the army. You can see the lasers coming down still.
Oh yeah.
I tucked away there.
I think they're getting stuck behind the fire singer wall is what's happening.
The classic. We're going to build a fire singer wall, and we're going to make the Aru pay for it. Lasers coming down.
Can probably close this one out at this point.
He can.
But...
I think one thing that he should really be angling for is on the far right side again. I think there's still stuff in the main again that he should be cleaning up. Because he's cleaned up that base on the three. Yeah, just a couple of guys over there. Because, like, dancing across that cliff is pretty good. Because even if...
Oh, this feels like the end.
Yeah. Because as soon as you pull back into that choke, now you're in a laserable position, right? And then you can't get back through there. You need to have that open area and play around it. If he ever forces you back into there, then you're going to be bottled up in your base and lasered every time you try and leave.
Wow.
That is crazy, eh?
There's just no way, like, oh my god.
What the hell?
What a game.
Oh, more smites.
The squeezing him out of existence is what's happening here.
Yeah, the fire singers in this open territory that's really big, right? Like, now that he's actually got that infrastructure coming in, it's going to be so hard to get the concave now, right? Like, you're not going to be able to wrap around the thrones. And then, as I was saying before, that choke point there if he can pin you in and force you back into there, then you're gonna stay there for the rest of your life.
Yeah, no, there's no way you're getting back out of that choke once you're
And I don't think there's just enough units anymore, right?
I think that's it. Yeah, there's just no money for magical. He can't remake it. He can't replenish it. There's no real threat to this big army. I think this could be the final hurrah. Like, the behemoth are not dying because nothing to shoot them, but
yeah, there's some smites.
Like, it was nice. That was nice. Like, he got the draining embrace, or the root vice rather, and got some hits in, but. We'll have to check after this whether they're fully upgraded both sides. I'd be really curious to know. You'd hope so, obviously, at this.
There's no way. No, surely, right? I mean, maybe not, but I think so. I think it's just that you never get to shoot, right?
That's probably
so much of your time is dancing, right? Like back and forth and dodging spells and avoiding the samurai fight kind of thing. You know, like it's very tricky.
Oh, there are a few castigators coming in now to try and deal with these behemoth.
Oh, that's interesting. I think just enough of the behemoths blocking other things on the ground, right? Like the Keedle are soaking up too much Hallower shots. I think is probably what's happening.
The behemoths are proven annoying for sure.
Yeah, they're worth
definitely. They tank a lot of throne swords as well.
Oh, there's so much damage on that.
Do you think he has the Cascador range upgrade though, or are these Cascaders just
never got it?
In and...
There's a decent number of smites going out on these behemoths. Bonk bonk.
Yeah, and the other thing is killing though. The blood wells are just healing. Oh my god, the swords.
Yeah.
I think at this point Hydra should be moving that though. I'll be honest.
At this point, yeah. I also think at this point that Magical should realize he's done. You know, I mean,
he knows. He definitely knows. I think he's dragging it out for a overall strategy of tiring out the opponent. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he thinks there's a world where he's bled off enough money.
Yeah.
But I think when you've had your bases taken in front of you, you have to know there's such a discrepancy coming in.
Yeah.
And like Magical overall hasn't lost much. It's mostly spent on Fire Singers.
Yeah, Hydra.
Oh, sorry.
Hydra hasn't. Yeah. I was like, Magical's lost quite a lot actually. He's lost it third.
No,
yeah.
I absolutely need to
look at this reclamation. He's reclaiming the whole map. Oh my god, Orzum's. Oh my god.
Dude, 35 must be a record for Citadels.
That is a whole Fire Singer chorus, dude. That's the whole lot.
Hydra must be having a blast right now.
He's
like
laughing.
Yeah, dude, you've got to be chuckling at a game like this.
I mean, look at those units couldn't kill all of those Fire Singers. You know? Yeah, I think this might be the kind of move forward now, right? Like,
I think this might be the A move. Yeah, I think you're right.
Blasting things. Bam, 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 bam. He's got so much money, right? Like, see that base on the side, the third, Magical Surge just got taken? He's never getting that back, right?
No,
so there's that extra money.
Not.
You can trade so crazy right now, like, yeah. The pillar. Hydra's on a comfortable 37 turrets, 1,117 Pyre. Oh, sorry. A correction. 1,154. Man's getting like a 25 Pyre every couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's got more Pyre income than LA income at this point. It's kind of messed up.
No, true.
And like, I mean, like, what kind of game is this where someone's just like, I'll just put a Citadel here. You're like, I'll destroy it, and you're like, I'll put another one there in like 10 seconds. Give me. He cannot build.
All right, real quick, what's your final guess? This is like guess the jelly beans in the jar. How many Citadels are we ending the game on?
Probably like 42. Not much more than this. I think 42.
In the chat, funny. I was gonna say that too. I was gonna say like 43. Yeah, chat.
It's the meaning of life. It's the.
There's not actually a winner, but there's definitely a sort of a winner if you manage to guess correctly.
Yeah.
Speaking of winners, make sure to check out the social media giveaway. Get yourself in the draw. I believe it'll be drawn tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
But that means it's open right now for you to get involved.
Ancient Construct going to be destroyed by some Fire Singers accidentally.
I'm a little bit disappointed with Hydra not spinning his Pyre. Macro slipping a little.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? I do wonder if he's cooldown limited right now. Because there's nowhere else to put Citadels, and I think like Citadel Foundations. Oh, that's a lot of smites that are actually going to hit. Goodbye, Behemoth. Yeah. So
Do you think,
I'm not sure what the plan is here. Like, are we just
do
hoping
you think
the
they're
game
sitting in a
eventually
voice chat
crashes?
chuckling?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're in the same voice chat laughing. They're like, they're listening to us as well. They're like, what are they going to say next? How much more can they talk about? Oh my god, there's a lot of Blades of the God here.
Well, that's the last place he's healing, so...
One more Rain of Blood. Let's go. This is the one. Surely. Oh, executed.
Executed!
Killer. You know what? The hardest thing here is maybe getting his army through his own blockade of units.
He's definitely struggling to get the Hallowers through.
Oh, so long distance mining here. Very ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ground units are going through, and at this point,
All right, 52.
there it is.
Hey!
GG. 39. Wow.
39.
Oh my god.